We have Aisaba Umutlu, award-winning journalist and member of Board of Trustees of IEPF. She's an award-winning journalist, producer, and humanitarian with nearly over a decade of experience across local and international news outlets, working across documentary, podcast, digital, and broadcast formats. Next, we have Ms. Niru Shamsu Nahar, advisor, Grameen Caledonian College of Nursing. Ms. Niru Nahar has been working at Grameen Caledonian College of Nursing since 2010. She joined as a vice principal and got promoted to be a principal in 2015 and worked as a principal up to 2025. After retirement, she's been working alongside as an advisor. Next, we have Ms. Miki Koyoma, President and CEO of Generous Co. Limited. From 1982 to 1997, after obtaining physical therapy license, she's worked in the Department of Rehabilitation at Nagoya City University Hospital. She's engaged in rehabilitation from the acute to recovery phases, treating a wide range of conditions, including cerebrovascular disorders, Parkinson's disease, spinocerebellar degeneration, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, post-operative rehabilitation for osteoarthritis of the knee, hip, and trauma, along with other diseases. I am amazed at how diverse this group is, and I'm super excited about the conversation that we're going to have today. Can we have a massive round of applause for all these amazing leaders that we have on stage today? All right, awesome. I'll be your moderator. I myself, I'm Farhia. I am the Senior Manager for Entrepreneurship Programs at YY Ventures, where we support early stage entrepreneurs across Bangladesh, East Africa, and Latin America, and of course, soon, the Southeast Asia. Thank you. All right, so today's conversation, we'll try to keep it as casual as possible. Feel free to jump in, feel free to tell the truth. We love that, especially for women. And with that, I'll start with my opening question that is open for all of the panelists here. Despite growing recognition of women's contribution to economic development, significant barriers still remain, right? What do you believe is the single greatest obstacle that prevent more women from realizing their full potential as entrepreneurs as well as leaders? And you can feel to speak from experience as well. Any of you can just pick up the mic and get the ball rolling.
It's on? Okay. Now, first of all, I like to say that I'm very happy to be back in Bangladesh. I've lived here for a couple of years, so I'm now here visiting, and thank you so much for the invitation. And the second thing I would like to say before we really begin, I'm so impressed by the level of organization, the detail you have put into organizing this Social Business Days. So thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm not paying her to do this, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, you asked about an obstacle, and maybe it's wrongly formulated, but I would say a lack of conversations. That could be an obstacle. If we are able to have more conversations with each other, maybe the big obstacles will go away. And let me explain a little bit. I've lived in many countries. I've lived in United States, in Suriname, in Bangladesh, and in Jordan. And every time you come into a new country, you have to find your way around. You have to find the stores, you have to get used to the traffic, you have to get used to the climate. But before you really can start working, you have to have an understanding of the culture of the country. What works in one country doesn't work in the other country. So my advice, number one, is sit down with each other and figure out what obstacles do you have, and see what kind of help are you looking for. If you start talking, especially to your close family, because we're talking about support for female entrepreneurship, you need to have the support of your family. So sit down with each other, listen to each other, and try to figure out what is the culture and what will work for me. The second thing is that I believe that a conversation is starting a change that starts from bottom up. And change, of course, we need policies that top down, but it's also the change starts in a conversation you have with each other. Just listen to each other, be curious, and ask questions. Then new ideas will emerge. And that new ideas we need to get more women on the work floor. And the last point I would like to make, the theme is a structured, fractured world. And I think we need also conversations to get over the fractions that are in the world. We don't have to convince each other, I am right and you're wrong. No, I think it's more important to be curious, how does the other one comes to this conclusion? What is his experience? Why is he so extreme in his opinions? So my advice to get over the obstacles is sit down with your partner, sit down with your parents, and try both in a nice dialogue to figure out how you can get your dream alive, how they can help you, and how everybody can support each other. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Could we request anybody else to share their thoughts and reflections as well? And feel free to add on to Aki's as well.
Hello. Hi, great. Thank you very much. To echo my colleague here, firstly, yes, thank you very much for the invitation. It's been such an inspiration to be here at the 2050 anniversary. And honestly, it's my first time in Bangladesh, so it's been great so far, really learning about it all. I think, honestly, I wouldn't say it's a single point of obstacle. I would say it's quite a number of factors. And the most important thing would be really to create, in my perspective, an enabling environment for women to be encouraged to take on entrepreneurship. I work at the Qatar Foundation, and our ecosystem operates in a way in which we have created a number of different value chains for those to be encouraged both from the educational sector, so starting right from K to 12 to university, but also creating an R&D ecosystem where we're encouraging both men and women to, of course, look at the research skills and so on, but then to take that to commercialization as well. So looking at creating a startup ecosystem in addition to that. So it's really the point of how that all comes together. I mean, where I live at the moment, which is in Qatar, about a quarter of women have businesses as well. So there is the culture of, you see this quite a lot. I mean, my personal anecdote is I know quite a lot of working women who have full-time jobs and still have businesses on the side. And the idea of social development is also quite embedded within the community because we have, of course, our Qatar National Vision 2030 that we're working towards, where social development is a key pillar. But with that, and this comes, me speaking as a working mom, and one of the areas that we've been focusing on for policy development too, which I'll come to later, is also looking at work-life balance. So we have a center within Qatar Foundation called the Doha International Family Institute, who have not only conducted research, but also provided recommendations at large in terms of how we can achieve greater work-life balance so that women are, at the end of the day, we're caregivers too, right? We have that care economy that we're working towards, and we have children and we have families and we have responsibilities. So it's really about enabling that balance to encourage, whether that's the imagination to do entrepreneurship or to tackle social development issues, but it's to do that too. And within Qatar Foundation, we've achieved that with some of our policies that we've implemented. So we have Education City, which is not just a university campus, but there's quite a lot of community activities and so on. And at a very basic HR level, for we call it human capital policies, we've encouraged mothers and we've encouraged flexible hours, longer maternity leaves, greater for new mothers to have greater time with their babies and infants for breastfeeding and all of that. So that helps. So that enabling environment to create, again, those who do have social businesses on the side and create the entrepreneurship desires, if they wanted to do that, that exists. So I would argue that it's not one thing, but it's all of it coming together.
This reminds me of Professor Yunus's speech on how treating humans as bonsais, which is creating a non-enabling environment where they're constricted, their growth cannot happen if the environment does not allow it, if the people around them don't allow it, right? So I think if we really want women to succeed, or for there not to be all these different stages of barriers, we have to stop putting women or turning women into bonsais, really, right? Thank you so much for your contribution. Yes, Elisa? The audio is bad. Could the mics be a little bit louder? The audio is a little bit hard for us on stage. Yep. And maybe for the speakers, it'll be, if we could speak closer to the mic, then maybe audio is a little bit better. Does this sound okay? Yep. So maybe for all the speakers, let's try to speak closer to the mic. Yep. With that, I'll invite you to say your piece.
I didn't mean to say my opinion on this, but I just wanted to say that I couldn't hear what Horia said.
Oh. So I think she spoke about how there's not just one barrier that you can be singled out, but multiple barriers, right? And I think these are some things that we've all faced across as a woman. One of them is a work-life balance, which for a woman who has not just work to look after, but we do so much unpaid labor. We are caregivers, we're mothers, we're partners. We do a lot of things outside of work, and that really puts us off balance. And aside from that, there's also creating an enabling environment for, let's say, entrepreneurs, or for a woman to really succeed in her career. And this is from conversations both from Aki's side. I think she also talked a little bit about having open conversations and open dialogues to hear both sides out, maybe without too many barriers in our minds as well, right? I know I've really, I've captured the top line of it, but I hope that kind of carries over your information. But yes, I'll invite the rest of the speakers to say your thoughts, especially from your walks of profession. I know that you've experienced different sets of barriers that you, along with maybe your female colleagues, have gone through, and how you see those barriers being shaken down in the future, or maybe even now by yourselves or other folks that you've seen working in this area.
From my industry, honestly, I haven't seen much big difference, but of course, growing up, I have seen lots of barriers.
Closer.
Sorry,
A little bit closer.
Yeah. Sorry. So from my own perspective and growing up, I've seen lots of course, like inequalities and the way in our societies they treat men in a, like when you have a son, it's different when you have a daughter. But I feel like this is already changing. And normally, like if something is said by a man, it's more heard than a woman. To be honest, I can see that in many environments. Let's say not only work environment, in many places. Let's say if any word said by a man, it's like the other parts are not happy to confront, so they would rather not to, say anything opposite. But whereas when they see women, they think that they can have a power over women, so they would be more courageous to say stuff over women. But I think, as I said, like growing up, seeing inequalities, I am trying to fight against this stuff, and I'm so happy to see that lots of women, even in your country, I can see like women as yours and others, that it makes me happy that we are making this change. So let's see, we are on the right path, I guess.
I think this panel itself is a direction that, we're bringing so many amazing, diverse women leaders, and the fact that, it wasn't really hard for us to find the right panel for this, the right speakers for this panel, and I think when I see other events or when I see other summits, it's always just men. So I'm really happy, and I think this in itself is a beautiful thing to experience. My next question is to you, Danyapa. You work a lot with female artisans in rural areas, right? How do you see for them the shift from, like the income that they're striving for day to day, which is really hard, to going into a leadership role where they can really grow their income long term or exponentially, maybe even?
Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity and great arrangement. Uh, the real fact is it's easier to make an income, but it's greater challenges to be a leader. And when it's about entrepreneurship leader, it's like, oh my God, it's not only in the village or the artisan, it's also about us. What I really observe in our society, every class of people, there is a mindset that we are not allowed to. And sometimes I think they also don't know why we are not allowed to, but they would love to say or poke, or sometimes it's more, worse than the scenario we even think. So it's all about the mindset, our social practice and norms that actually discourages us to be a leader. In every places, I always notice in my university when I had a job and after the journey as an entrepreneur, and then in the village, all are like in that setup, okay, you had it enough, you have a great family, so why are you doing so? And when I ask them why not, they don't have that actual answer. They can't actually accept. So it's all about the mindset. In every class of people in our country, they actually can't accept women as a leader. This is the biggest challenge, that the mindset we can't change actually. What we can ignore, avoid, and just pursue our dream. And it's something like that you are bound to, actually it's all about you, and you have to run your show. It's your show, you are the queen, you lead your own dream. So just leave the society, because actually they can't change. It's true, in our subcontinent, it's not only in Bangladesh, trust me. How I brought up and grown up, my parents act like I am a child. Still in the university, I am a child, I can't even walk. And now, see, I do every single thing by my own. So that actually doesn't matter. But I can't change my parents' mindset. I even can't change my people mindset. I run my factory. It's all about 350 women in my factory. And I had horrible experience for my artisan. One of my artisan, her husband brutally beat her, and at last he torn the clothes that we gave her to hand embroidered, because he thought if he do something like this, so we'll not give her work anymore. So that's why he did something like that. So it's not only the rural area, it's all over in our subcontinent mind. It's about the mindset that we actually can't allow to go for any leadership. We are not enough, we are too weak, and that's why I still can remember, I do have a scholarship for Australia and USA. My parents didn't allow. Unfortunately, my brother lives in Australia for the same scholarship. This is the mindset. They think about their daughter, she needs to be protected. And when the real life challenge you have to fight back. There is no other way. So what I really, feel that we need to focus on what we actually want to do, what is the impact, and just go for that one, leave every single thing. Trust me, and sometimes I do so.
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't want to jump on every answer, but I want to say, when women is educated like you and others, like I feel like this is already leading to a change. Because if you bring another educated kid, that's for me, education is the best solution. And the more women is educated, the more society gets educated, and that's how I think we can change it. Eventually, it can become part of the legislation, regulations in the country. It could be part of the schools, because women like you will push this to be part of the government schools and in other institutions. That's my take.
Yeah, and I think I agree, right? You could only push yourself for so long. I think you now already have the power, and you already have been supporting a lot of other women, right? So they're getting a benefit that maybe you did not get when you didn't have any other woman pulling you up. And I think only a woman can pull another woman up the way we really think. Nobody can feel what we feel, so only a woman can help us in those areas. And I think it's all of our joint effort and responsibility as a woman who's gone through that hardship to do what you're already doing, which is pulling other women up, educating ourselves, educating the next generation of women and men, because men also need to learn, our perspectives. Yeah.
But this is women who will educate men. That's why
Yes.
I like the idea of having educated women who will pass it on
Yep.
to the next generation.
Yep. And with that, I think my next question, Nirupa, is to you, because you've been in the education field for a really long time, right? How do you see, from your perspective, especially with Grameen Nursing College, right? What lessons have you learned about building women's confidence and leadership and professional identity through education? Because this is something that women also struggle with, right? I think there's a very interesting statistic that I'd learned, that women need at least 100% match in order to apply for a job. Whereas a man, if it's like 60% match, they're gonna shoot their shot, right? So I think education plays a very strong role in building confidence for us to believe in our own abilities. How do you see education playing a big role in that for women?
Thank you. Actually, I am lucky. I have been working, this is the women sector. So in Bangladesh, there is 90% are in women in nursing section and 10% only men. But that is my experience when students, we recruit the students and they came and admit to the college. But after some days, parents come and they said, oh, no, I will not give my daughter here. Why? Because she will not get married. The good people will not marry her. This is the social stigma and stereotype. So we just counseling them. You see, this is the student life. They will qualify after 4 years, and then they will start to get the job and earn money, and they will then hire study. So they will establish themselves. But sometimes we saw, okay, they got the married. Husband said, no, you can do this job because you will do the night duty with the man. That is, but in the man, when the male nurse, there is no stigma like that. Only for the female nurse. So what we are doing now, we think there should be fostering the autonomous decision maker, not the job. They will not take the job. They should be in the decision maker in the workplace. And also, we should introduce the module. They become a leader. They can talk to the place. And also the create environment to become the leader. So I remember one thing from our respected sir. Sir always said, you should give the platform first, then you should expect from them. So our college, that is the environment we can give them for self-confidence, okay? And the environment is very good environment. But most of the college, there is no environment. And they just take this as a work, not the leadership, not the decision maker. So that's why we tried to encourage the students, teach them how to develop, become a decision maker, and empowerment. That is the main things. So you will not suffer in your family, also in the workplace. And there is, the female nurse, there is bullying, there is sexual harassment, so many things. So we also introduced the module. There is the management of women against the sexual harassment. So at least nurses, they can stand beside the patient. Okay, give the mentally support. That is not her fault. Because always people blame the women. Even the divorce, that is the women's fault. So that's why we teach our students, they learn, okay, they will support these victims and they will support themselves against the bullies and against the harassment, any harassment in the workplace. That is all my experience.
Thank you
So
so
many
much for
experience.
sharing. And one thing that you said was really interesting to me, and I think it connects the dots when you said, most of your students are actually female. And I think women are naturally amazing caregivers, right? And you think because they're such naturally great caregivers, the healthcare system for women would be so much better because right now, I think I hear more news about where the healthcare system has failed more women than it helped, right? So my next question is to you, Mickey.
To Mickey?
Yeah.
Yes.
Since you've worked so many years, decades supporting rehabilitation, healthcare, professional development, how do you see women entering the healthcare and really changing healthcare for women as well? And how can this be a tool for their leadership growth as well?
ヘルスケアっていうと、業界においてどういうチャレンジがあったのかっていうところを、でも社長が。
あ、はい。皆さん、ご存知かどうかわからないですが、ジェンダー格差っていうものが発表されてまして、実は日本は114位ってなってます。
Before going to explain about her experience, so she shared about how terrible situation in Japan. So unfortunately, the gender gap index ranking 2025, Japan's ranking is less than 100, 118. So Bangladesh position is like 24 or something like that. It's much terrible situation in Japan. Even now. Okay.
そのぐらい皆さんは日本は女性が活躍してるかなと思うかもしれませんが、実はそういう状況で、国会議員も、そして会社で役員になる人たちも 20% ぐらいです。
Actually, so even Japan was called developed countries. So for example, like leadership position, like politician, CEO, managing director, the percentage is less than 10%. So this is a current situation, not the previous years.
その中で、会社を起こしてやってくる中では、様々なやはり女性に対する差別的な発言であったりとかっていうのは非常に多かったと振り返ってます。
So even so she launched the healthcare startup more than 28 years before. So all the people, not only the male, but also female people, even female people also say, you cannot do because you are lady, female.
でもそれを女性だからできるっていうふうにいかにマインドチェンジしていくかなと思います。
So actually, this is critical point. So who know very well about the importance of healthcare? So she believed because she was a human, she was a woman, that is why she know deeply more compared than somebody's. So that is why, so she start the journey with healthcare field.
ヘルスケアの世界は皆さんまたこれわからないかもしれないんですけど、絶対的に医師の権力が特に強く。
Oh, it's very not funny. So if in this, how to say, conference room, if there is a doctor, I'm sorry to say. So actually, healthcare sector is a kind of a small battle between the doctor and such kind of therapist, specialist.
その中においては、ある意味の、そこにもジェンダーを感じる部分というのは非常に多かったです。
So even she feels a gap about their gender, so in the healthcare field, so she still has a strong passion. So because she knows deeply about the importance of healthcare with the whole background of whole her life, so that is why, so she still continues a journey with the healthcare.
その中で見失いことというのは、やはりその事業を行ったりとか、女性としてやるべきことが何なのか、目的の部分を見失いことかなと思います。
Okay, so actually it's kind of like small message to the next generation. So actually she says that, so how to say, if we cannot find the, how to say, good future vision, so she always coming back about the purpose, origin for her challenges. Because she loves to support somebody, she chooses healthcare. This is her origin. This is a purpose for challenges. So even 28 years already passed, she never changed it. That's all. Thank you very much.
That's amazing to hear. Can we have a round of applause, actually? I think we've heard about, how different sectors, women are breaking through different sectors, right? I would love to talk about maybe on a policy level to you, Horaya. What are some structural changes? We've spoken about some barriers and challenges, but what are some structural changes that you think are really needed to kind of make sure we're creating the enabling environments to help women participate fully into the economy and public life as well?
Thank you very much for that. I mean, just listening to some of our
Sorry,
participants.
Horaya, could you?
Can you hear me? Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just hearing the perspectives and the experiences of some of our participants, I mean, it's really interesting to see how there are a lot of similarities as well. What I would say from a policy perspective, like some of the structural barriers, I referred to it earlier, which is definitely that enabling environment, as well as to ensure that you have that balanced family, work-life environment in which to allow for women's greater participation. And that's where policy change really comes in to scale that impact, to ensure that both private sector, public sector is equally encouraging of flexible hours. However, I would also go one step further, and our colleague here referred to it earlier, which is the role that education plays, and ensuring that also equal access to education, having girls, role modeling within the education sector as well. I think that plays a big difference. Just from the Qatar experience, we have education as one of the strongest areas that we push for, that we believe in. And because of that, we have empowered a lot of female leaders. So the Qatar Foundation experience is 30 years old, in which we've been really focusing on both on private sector education as well as supporting government and on public sector education. And what we see today is, after 20 years, is the human impact of all of that. You see strong female leaders out there who are balancing both professional life as well as private life, as well as entrepreneurial life. And being able to embed that again within that policy mindset is key. Also having women leaders in policies, in the policy landscape has also been beneficial. So we see a lot of our ministers, a lot of, again, our young graduates from Education City who are participants in the policy ecosystem. So these are all really critical and important factors. A very specific example that I would like to mention too is something that I have seen grown over the last few years, which has been particularly encouraging, again, bringing it back to female entrepreneurship, is the role that home businesses play, and being able to regulate that from an informal sector to a formal sector has really helped as well. So here are some of the policy tools that could enable such structural change. Again, I would say education is first and foremost that important one, as well as being able to have work-life balance.
Thank you so much. And my next question to you, Aki, is since we've talked about the policy level changes, what are some suggestions you'd give to, let's say, entrepreneurship support organizations who are designing interventions for women in different cultural contexts? How do you see that they should be designing or keeping things in mind when they're designing these interventions to support or uplift women entrepreneurs?
Okay, thank you. I think there are two things we have to be aware of. And the first thing is women have an entrepreneurial mindset. Only not all the women know it. The whole education is still very much focused that men can start a business. Women are therefore taking care. I think we've heard it before. But in fact, women are the better entrepreneurs. They are flexible. They know how to create a plan, how to work it out. So women have the capacity to become really a good entrepreneur, only they have to be taught. And the second thing we have to be aware is the climate change. It has been mentioned more today, but actually now in Europe, it's extremely hot. It's code red. They are in shock of the effect of climate change. But I can tell you, women will suffer far more in the south of the globe from the effects of climate change. There will be less water. They have to walk further away to get water to the house. Women are bound to stay at their land and stay there with the children. Men can go away. So we have to keep in mind, if we work with women, we have to help them there. I've worked in Suriname with women in interior, and what I've learned from that experience is that the men always leave the village. They go abroad to dig gold or whatever. The women stay in the village. So I trained those women some skills, so they had some income in the end. And what I've learned from those women is that they spent the money to the household and to raise the children and give them a better education. The second experience I want to share with you, I just came back from Indonesia on my way to Bangladesh. And there I work with an organization for working migrants. And most of them are female. I think it's in Bangladesh different. Most of them are men, but in Indonesia, it are women. And you can't, the organization I worked with set up a system to really help all the migrants. Before they go away, they encourage a dialogue with the family. Who is taking care of the children? What are you going to do with the money, the remittance that comes in? What's your dream? What's your plan? What are your legal status? So they really prepare the migrant before she left the country to Hong Kong or China to be aware of her rights and organize the family at home. And when they come back, I worked on setting up a business incubator. And also there, one of the key elements is talk with your family. You want to set up a business, but you can't do it alone. You need the support of your partners, of the children, of the community. I will be on my way to Tanzania in the fall. And there, the moment I'm there, it will be very hot and there will be no water. So I will be setting up an incubator there, also to help young girls and women to set up a business, to have an entrepreneurial mindset, to encourage them. And what I've learned from studies, and I've experienced that myself, it's so important that the mentors and the trainers are female trainers, because people, especially women, accept more from female mentors, female teachers. So I encourage you all to help each other and support each other, also when you face very challenging circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. My next question to you is, to you, Isaba. you've worked in the media for a really long time, and I think media is a powerful tool, right? Especially when we get to want to set a narrative or fix a narrative. How do you see media playing a stronger role to create a stronger representation for women? Because I think that's something that's always missing, right? Most women perhaps don't believe in themselves or push themselves because they don't see the right representation that they can relate with, maybe on media, internationally, globally, or locally. How do you see media being used as a tool to really push women into the forefront of their industries or of their lives?
Thank you for the question. So I think from my own experience, again, in the channels I worked with, we always try to have a balance. I remember that I would have hard time when one of the guests would not be a woman, because that was the rule, like we cannot have three men together. And then I was like, what am I supposed to do if I don't find anybody? But that was the rule, and I really appreciated that we always try to have a balance, at least one of the guests. Of course, media has a huge role in everything we see now, but I feel like now more than media, it's social media, it's AI, it's other technologies can have a bigger roles. Of course, media's role is, I mean, I do see the media's role, but year by year, I think the audience is more moving towards to social media. And of course, social media can be harmful, also very helpful for women. And the biggest harm I see is like visibility without protection. I don't see it as an empowerment, but at the same time, we can see that this social media, which can be harmful, helped millions of women to raise their voice, to reach to global audiences. And we need to make sure that these women don't get any blackmailed, or they are not stalked, or they don't have any online, online dangers against them. But let me give you examples about AI. For example, AI helps many women nowadays in rural areas. They can access to legal advices, to advices about health, also like farming, when to crop, which weather, like how to do things, and all of that. So I think it all depends how women representation again presented in these organizations, in social media, in media, in AI building. Because if women is there, they will know what women want. If the women is not present there, then I think we will reproduce the same mistakes we have done in the past, and I don't think that we can reach to something. So we have to push more women representation in these industries. That's how I see it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. My next question is to you, Tanyapa. As an entrepreneur, what would your advice be for the next generation of women who are thinking of, entering the workforce? And what would you say to them in terms of convincing them that maybe entrepreneurship might be a better path to especially changing the systems as opposed to being a job seeker?
Thank you. First of all, what I really think, Faria, I'm still not that much appropriate person to give some advice. What I can share, the learning I learned, I think it's all about 10 years. So I just can share the things. So what actually I really believe in, there is only me, there is no other one who can pursue my dream, who can allow myself. So it's all about me. Not the society, not the people, not even the friend, not even your own parents. If you want to do something impactful, just do it. You will fall for sure, and it's natural. Fall, 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 and arise like a phoenix. Nothing less, nothing more. Be focused always. And as I always say, you are the master of your show. So it's your ground, play. Play till your last death or breathe, last breath. Because there is no one, trust me, there is no one until unless you complete your ground zero. After achieving your ground zero, there are so many people, there are so many well-wisher, friends, family that will motivate you a lot. But when you decide, yes, I want to make something impactful, then you need to note it down on your head that there is only you, there is no other way, not even the government. So be truthful, be honest, be focused, and fight back like a fighter.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Can we have a round of applause for that? My next question is to Mickey. Having dedicated your career,
Okay.
having dedicated your career to developing the next generation of healthcare professionals, what would be one piece of advice that you would offer young women who aspire to become leaders while balancing purpose, professionalism, and entrepreneurship within this sector?
So, sorry, would you just
Yeah.
ask one more?
So, what is one advice that you'd give to young women who are aspiring to become leaders while balancing purpose, professionalism, and entrepreneurship in the healthcare industry?
Very good question.
さっきも言ったかもしれないんですけど、まず自分がどんなことをやりたいっていう目的を持つっていうことが一番かなと思います。まず夢ですね。夢からスタートする。はい。
Okay, so actually, how to say? So, in the last part, so she said about the importance of passion, the importance of purpose. But actually, so when she started her journey, actually she didn't have the clear purpose, but she has a power to follow the dream. So this is her beginning. And next.
そして熱意、どれだけ自分がこれをやるんだっていうやっぱり熱意が次に大事かなと思います。
So and next is passion. Okay. So and
でもそうしてるとなんか女性がやっぱり目をつり上げてこう働いてるっていうような肩肘張って働いてるっていうようなイメージになることがあるかと思います。でも
as all the speaker explains, so all the female women has many of the barriers. So that is why even she still has a passion. Sometimes how to say she feels a difficulty even now.
だからその時に日本には思いやりっていう言葉があります。
Okay, so how to translate 思いやり? Okay, so today the Professor Dr. Yunus explained about the very, very similar word, selflessness. Selflessness is a Japanese word is maybe 思いやり. So this is how to say her turning point for her challenges.
やはりその思いやりの心を失わず、やはり自分のためじゃなく他人のためにどうやっていくかっていう気持ちを持ちながら、優しい気持ちになる。
Okay,
Love.
I see. So in order to achieve the purpose, sometimes how to say, so we need to get the support from outside those people. But if, for example, leader is too selfish, so nobody support. But on the other hand, if she has a mind of selflessness, so 思いやり in Japanese, so how to say, automatically, so many of the people cooperate or collaborate or co-creation with her. This is her method, the secret to how to achieve the purpose. Is it?
Thank you so much. I think that was a pretty good translation. Can we have a round of applause?
Thank you very much.
All right, Nirupa, my question to you now. We spoke a lot about healthcare, and I think, we definitely know that it's one of the fastest growing sectors, especially for women's employment globally. How do you think institutions or colleges and universities can better prepare women, not just to enter the workforce, but to lead the sector?
Well, actually, the institution, we can help prepare and elevate the young women nurses through one is sponsorship and mentorship pipelines. And secondly, we can introduce equip them with the digital and technology and communication skill. And the emphasis on the leadership module, how to they grow as a leader in their workplace. Not only work, also in future they can do their own business. So that's why they need the sponsorship and capital. That's all. And also research, introduced to artificial intelligence, digital platform. So this way we can equip our students to become a future leader and skill. So this way, thank you very much.
Thank you. I think I'll end with one rapid fire question for all the speakers here. I think, we've discussed a lot of things, and one thing that you said that really interested me was access to, let's say, what was it? Technology, right. So I think technology plays a very big role, especially for women all across the world, because most of the times when women struggle to get into the workforce is usually because, they have obligations outside of work that don't allow them to go into office spaces. It could be cultural differences that don't allow them to go to office spaces. I think technology is a big tool to get more women in the workforce through remote options, through safer, more, I think, culturally friendly options that allow more women to join workforces or become an entrepreneur. I think COVID was one of the biggest creators of female entrepreneurs because they just started selling things online, whether it's something they've made, something they've cooked, something they're reselling. So with that context in mind, access to technology, how do you think, from your perspective in your line of work, how does access to technology, how can it be utilized to really propel more women into leadership roles in their sectors or maybe in their ecosystems? Yep.
So now, can you hear me? So now I will give you an example from our humanitarian job perspective. In 2023, International Eurasia Press Fund started the first women deminers in Azerbaijan because we have a big problem with landmines. So initially, people had some misconception that maybe women, will not be as successful as men, but it ended up being equally successful as men, and they are very productive, they are very careful and very responsible. So we have a really good result, and that's one of the examples that you asked, what is access to the technologies can give. Yeah, this is one of the examples I wanted to share. I'm just trying to think what else I have. The rest can
Feel free to
answer.
circle back as well again.
Okay.
Anybody else would like to go?
I'm still probably not answer your question, but I think the best advice I could give female entrepreneurs, find a role model, find a female mentor. Thank you.
Yeah, I think technology allows you to find a female mentor more easily than you could have ever before. So that's a wonderful answer. Yep. Anybody else? And feel free to maybe share an experience that you felt where technology helped you in advancing your own career as well.
Sorry.
Yeah.
For me, I would say it's, technology is important, of course, but I think we also need to go back, right? To me, it's about education first and foremost. And it's really about teaching those innovation skills, teaching that creativity, teaching the entrepreneurial skills that you can do so from a young age for both men and women. Access to technology, of course, it's important globally, but it's also how you use that technology, because it could also be used for bad, it could be used for good. Separately, there are a whole other host of issues, in my opinion, as well, with digital addiction and so on. So it's about teaching the resiliency ultimately for children, and therefore also that entrepreneurial skills, also the imagination, also the innovation. So for me, it really starts at education.
I completely agree, and I think our current education systems are not equipping the next generation of not just women but men as well to really handle what's coming, especially in the age of AI. And I hope that educational institutions take that into account and really train and prep us not just for digital literacy but also on the ethics of how we use technology as well. Would you like to answer from a perspective of an entrepreneur, Tanyapa?
No, it's not like that way. I just want to share that one of my UK buyer, they are basically Armenian Muslim, and I made them Manchester Trade Mission. So one day they suggest me a TikTok page, and I was like, "What TikTok? I don't have TikTok." And she was like, "Why? We sell on TikTok." And until that day, TikTok was for me something not good because we don't utilize TikTok. We use its, we use this tool as a nothing productivity. It's all about the waste of time. So exactly, I truly agree that we need to know how to utilize the AI or the apps or social media or everything, not use. It's the proper word should be utilized. We don't know how to utilize this platform until unless we can't actually achieve our goal. So it's not only about women, it's all about men and women, our society, our class of, every class of people, the students, everyone need to know how to utilize and then implement. I think this is the thing. And I do have something to say about the, as you told before, the policy. In our country, I'd love to add, in our country, we actually live in a talking tom world. We don't implement. We say a lot. We have some, rules and regulation over the women. It could be entrepreneur, it could be job holder, anyone. But there are some rules and regulation. But the real scenario, it's not implemented. As an entrepreneur, I don't want to, give interest lower than men. I am capable enough because I run my business by my own force. So I am capable enough. But in our country, women are obligated for family member. They need their recommendation for having a bank loan. When Dr. Yunus sir says in the morning that Jubilee, there was no bank, they weren't ready for give money, the poor people. Actually, what I really feel in 2026 that still the banks are not willing to give money to the women because their family don't allow, they want to pursue their dream or their project, their business. Still, I don't have any bank loan because I don't have any family guarantor. So these are the reality. So nothing actually changes. We actually love to talk more. We don't want to work out or implement something. So I think we need to change this mindset also that no, it's not only bookish thing. We implement it and we execute. I think it's more important actually.
And maybe our generation of women can be the executors because we're sat here today already ready to act on it. My last questions, if you want to add in your thoughts about access to technology or any lasting advice from your end, Niru, Appa, and Mickey, feel free.
I will say for our young nurses, you will work for the patient, but you will work also for yourself. You will save yourself, you will keep safe, and you keep yourself fine. And also, when they are students, they should learn job is not the last one. They should do their own business. They should be the entrepreneur. How? They can build a nursing home, they can build a nursing school, and they can build a coaching center. So this way they can do the business also. That is the things. And my another things I'll tell to our sir, because my college, I am telling to sir, this GCCN established in 2010 with a diploma course, only 38 students. Now we have the 5 courses and there is 973 students. So I would like to say our college should be the first nursing university in Bangladesh. That is my wish and from our students. Thank you.
Thank you. テクノロジーの部分においてはヘルスケアの場面では肉体的な部分を補うリフトであったりとかロボットあったりというのは発達しているかなと思います。
Actually, so how to say, new technology also changes the healthcare sector dynamically, but
ただその中で精神的な部分、人と人とのつながりであったりとか、人のぬくもりであったりとかっていうところを補えるのがなかなか AI 等では難しいのかなって感じています。
even though she already tried to adjust to the new technology, including the AI, not only her with all the company's member, but because of her company, the main of the, how to say, staff is a therapist, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, speech therapist. So that is why, so they believe there is something space only human or only women can do it.
だからこそ例えば、社員のことを考えたときに社員の心にもどう寄り添っていくかとかそういうことが非常に重要に AI を使う反面においてはそういうことをきっちりしていかないと AI に逆に心を失う AI のせいで心を失ってしまうようなことが起きる気がします。
So even though, how to say, like AI told almost everything, but the rest of the past is very, very important to be a human beings. For example, like how to feel each other, like compassion. It's a little bit difficult to, how to say, to achieve without the relationship, without the like polite communications so among the humans. So that is why, so she still believes the power of, how to say, ladies and humans about the like insight. So from the deep of her heart. And maybe so, actually, so I know that, so she says that, can I translate? So actually, before going to session, so I already heard, but so because she a little bit assumed, that is why instead of her, I want to share one thing. So actually, she says, so how to say, from now on, the area of error, she believes that, how to say, strongest power is the power of love. So even she didn't share, so that is why instead of her, I want to share. But the point is that, how to say, without the power of love, so she cannot make the bridge between the human beings. And as a healthcare sessions, so the, how to say, core, like competency is that still love, even more than 28 years past. So that is why she always believe, not only the past several years, from now on, she says that so she will continue to work with love.
That's beautiful. I think that's a beautiful way to end this. And thank you so much to all of our panelists. Yep. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Can we have a bigger round of applause for our amazing lineup of speakers? They've had so much to share. And I only wish I could speak to them one-on-one on coffee chats to get to learn more about your work deeply. But now maybe we'll go downstairs to take a group photo with Sir. Yeah. We'll go down. Yeah. We'll take a photo. Yeah. No, only for the bar. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have concluded today's ceremony. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I see everybody, a lot of familiar faces. No, we're not going to dance right now, Fayana. But I'm super excited that we have had a successful day. We've learned so much from such brilliant minds across the world from all sectors of life. And I'm really thankful for everybody who made the time. I know we're a little bit behind on time as well, so thank you so much for bearing with us. We are on time now, apparently, so woo to us. We will be breaking for dinner. For those folks who've had lunch with us, the dinner will be served in the food hall onto the right side. So please make way. We're hoping for some delicious warm food waiting for you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Fist. And clearly I don't see myself upon that list.